What is today? Thursday. Happy Thursday, folks. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. See what my machine over here is doing. How's your day? How's your day? Hopefully it was good. It is still cold for it to be April around here. Uh, it is still chilly out, folks. Still chilly out. But a lovely day, a beautiful day nonetheless. Stop griping and complaining. I know what's wrong. Come on. No griping and complaining.
Shake a leg. The brainstorm's kicking off in the
Oops.
boardroom. No.
Okay. I had too much going on. Yes, hopefully you had a good day. Today is Thursday. It was a beautiful day. I mean, not to where it was warm. It's been cold around here. But hopefully sooner or later it will warm up. Hopefully more sooner than later. I am tired of the cold, 45, 50 degrees, etc., etc. I am tired of that. Let me look on, see how I'm looking on the actual live itself. See how I'm looking on the actual live. Okay, there I go. There you heard me. Okay. So maybe for some folks it is a drive home, and maybe for some folks it is you're at home already. Things are moving about. Let me put this on mute. Okay. Or maybe you are moving about. So here goes. What is the topic? I don't have to do anything, just show up. Of course, I am not in that category of people, so I am not in that category of people. So, what do I mean by that? There are folks, and you may know these folks. These folks may be celebrities. These may be folks that have had wealth from the beginning of time to now, or families that have accumulated wealth over time, or at least, the, let's say the father or the mother, or what have you, they have worked, and they have accumulated or amassed a great fortune, etc. Those type of folks. Who else am I talking about? The other type of people that they don't have to do anything but just show up. Maybe folks that look good. I'm looking at my notes. I don't go too crazy. They look good. They're aesthetically pleasing. So you want to have that front-facing person out there when people come into your office, or whatever it is that's going on, or you're having some type of function and you want the people that are supposed to be, signing in the gas. You want those people to look good. You want them to be good looking, etc., so that people will be more. Oh, I had a pleasant experience. The people that checked me in, they were very beautiful, they were pretty, they were handsome, etc., etc. And, that will start off an event or something with leaving a person with a good taste in their mouth for what may happen at the event or at the doctor's office, etc. You never know how people are thinking. But yes, just with anything, you want your first interaction to be a good one. Like when you go into places of business, restaurant, any type of place, to buy furniture, to buy some type of service. If you're calling on the phone, you kind of sort of, you can hear the person smiling on the phone, that type of thing. You want your first interaction to be a good one, because when you go to a restaurant or something or another, you are there spending your hard-earned money for yourself and or your family, or a date or something like that, and you want to be your first interaction with the person at the counter to be a good one, and not someone that has a nasty attitude. But that's not kind of sort of where I'm going. But the physical appearance for some folks is where they don't have to do anything but just show up and be there and be pretty. There's a lot of folks that have that going on for them. What else? And like I mentioned, with regards to legacy, generational wealth, the parents, they may have not had anything, or they may have had money passed on to them, and they have kept that money, and they have added on to that money, and now you're going to be the recipient of that at some point. Or the parents didn't have anything and they worked and did whatever. Maybe they got a high degree of PhD or something like that, and then they worked particular jobs, etc., and they were able to amass a fortune, or they started a business that did well at a particular time, and now at some point you may be the beneficiary of that. Once again, you don't have to do anything but just show up, or of course be born into it, if that is how it happens for you. So we have those folks. And with that generational wealth thing being passed on to someone, and there's probably some statistic out there, like maybe after the second time or the third time it gets passed on, then it's pretty much a done deal and it is all gone. Because I think in my brain the way that it should work. But of course, you may be dead and gone before the generational wealth gets passed on. And of course, if it's your money, you get to decide when that happens. And it could be after your death if you set things up that way, or it could be, slowly, slowly, slowly while you are still alive. And maybe you're seeing that your kid is turning out okay for the most part to begin with, and and you want to do something differently. You want to start giving them some money when they get 21, 25, whatever, etc. But with that in my brain, you have the money and you want the next generation to keep that same amount of money and to keep adding on, to keep building more wealth upon that money, so that the principal amount stays and you're just adding money onto that, etc. And these are folks that they don't have to do anything, just show up or not show up, because they have the money, they're already the resources, etc. They don't have to show up. And like I mentioned before, sometimes the children don't learn the lesson of hard work when sometimes they're given everything. And I'm not saying that every rich family they do this type of thing. Some do, some don't. Some make their children really work. Some make their children learn the business if they're so inclined to learn the business. If they don't, then maybe the parents are saying, hey, you're going to have to do something. I'm not leaving this money to you for you to think that you're just going to wait till I die, get the money, and then do whatever it is that you want to do. No, you're going to work now, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to learn a whole host of things. Even though you go out and do something on your own, you're going to learn how you're going to preserve this wealth for yourself and then for your children, etc. So those are some of the folks that don't have to do anything but just show up or just be born into money or something other like that. Also, another types of folks that don't have to do anything with regards to getting a job, etc. are people that they know other folks. They got connects, a friend of a friend of a friend, or your rich uncle or your rich dad has a friend that work in a particular field sector that you would like to go into, and all your dad has to do is to call somebody and boom, you're in there, etc. No interview process, none of that. You don't have to go through any of that. You don't have to do anything. You just have to show up. And I get it, when you show up, sometimes you will have to put some type of work in, etc. But other folks that have to go through all of these hoops, i.e. get into hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt to get a degree, etc., and then go on and have to get in the competition pool with everybody else. It's a little bit more than they have to go through the whole process, and not everybody else. Of course, we got friend of a friend, we got networking, and it works for these people every time. The people that don't have to do anything but just show up. The 1 minute they're over here at this job for a year or 2 or 18 months, and I want to do something else. I don't want to work in the medical field. I want to go over here and work in technology, and they probably know zero about technology, but all they have to do is have a good name behind them, or look good, or a friend of a friend is recommending this person, a whole host of stuff, and it just get a little bit crazy when you don't have to do anything but just show up. Are you in any of these categories? I would like to know, are you in any of these categories? Hello, Latanya's Cooking for the Soul, plus something or another. It doesn't say anything, but I know you have 2 channels. Hello, and welcome into the chat. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by, etc. Are you in any of these categories? Do you have that rich uncle? Do you have rich parents that have amassed a lot of wealth, and then when they die, they're going to give it to you because they told you so, and hopefully you saw the paperwork, but that paperwork can change at any time, so don't count on it. Don't count on it. Are you in any of these categories? Are you in any of these subcategories where you have, when you went through college, you did your networking and what have you, and you can call on friends after you lose your job, or if you're looking for a job in a particular area, and they can put in a good word for you with HR or the person that actually does the hiring, and maybe the person that does the hiring is their friend. That's where in my brain for now, that is where the big and the major networking should be happening when you are in college, giving the college all of your money so they can teach you some stuff that you can get online besides all the professional stuff. A little tongue in cheek there. and then you have to get out here and compete with the other folks that have gone through the same hoops that you have, and then with the folks that don't have to do anything but just show up. We really have to, parents, etc., and folks that want to, go to college. I'm not knocking it. I am not knocking it because I did it. I got a degree, etc. I am not knocking it, but it's a different ball game nowadays, and you really have to do all your research and make the best decision that is going to work for you. If you know that you're just working your 40-hour week and you want to go back to school to get a higher degree or to get a degree in of itself, make sure that it is going to work for you. Make sure you know all the stuff going in. Make sure you know how much the job is paying. Make sure paying based on where it is you're going to be. Ask questions, of course, now before the 2 or the 4 years, whether you want to work public sector, private sector, etc., federal government, etc., etc. All of those things. How much money am I going to have to put out to this? Do I have enough time to invest in going to college for 2 or 4 years, etc., depending on what it is that you are getting, when maybe you could do a whole host of other things and get to the same point, or maybe do some internships or something. And I get it. People might not have the time or the energy to do that after working a 40-hour week job, but in lieu of having to pay a college X number of dollars, see if there are other things out there that you can do. And if you have network, maybe you can do maybe if you have network with someone in a particular field you want to get into, maybe during your downtime from your job or on the weekends, if this particular sector is open and available on the weekends, do a little OJT there or an internship there when you're on vacation from your job, doing that type of thing, if you don't want to outlay the money. Yeah, there are some things where you'll have to do the outlay of the money to get the degree, the certificate, the results that you want. I get it. But if not, and you're not fully on board and you don't want to commit that type of time, energy, and money to it, take out these student loans, then those are some options for you. But if you're kind of sort of not in any of these categories, which I am not, I have never been in, then yeah, you really have to weigh your options, your choices, do your research, and do what is going to work best for you. And then if at some point you begin to see, notice, understand, or don't think that it's going to work out the way that you had planned the first time, the second time, third time while you're making your journey, then pull out and do something differently. Get another plan, etc., etc. But tough roads ahead, in my opinion, if you don't fall into any of these categories. What else do I got on here? Now, with regard to some people that, for me and in my brain, that I don't have to do anything, just show up. Sometimes it is a play on people's emotion. And one of the things that readily comes to mind is when we look at leaders out here, and maybe leaders, the ones that share my reflection, and possibly some of the ones that don't share my reflections, that people love, they would, whatever they say, they would take it as the God's honest truth, etc. But for the ones that share my reflection, when we look upon these people as leaders, and in my brain, there's always some other component that's, hey, we want to get the person that shares my reflection out there in front of folks and saying all the things that they are saying, because they're on our team, and we're going to let them have this spot because they're going to say the things to the people that share not only their reflection, but my reflection, our reflection, etc. And we're emotional people. Sometimes we're going to take it as truth, etc. And then it's getting political. And then the whammy comes when they tell you vote for X person. That is where it gets problematic. And what I have noticed over many years, this type of thing happening. This is just me and my overall perspective, thoughts, what I have seen, etc. I think that those type of things are at play, and we can't fall victim to that, etc., etc. And then people saying outrageous things with regards to people that share our reflection because they want to say something against the other person in a political sense, etc. We can't do that, and we can't be held by our emotions. I get it, but the thing is, people will play on your emotions. And once again, they may be putting people in front of you that look like you, and over a long period of time, not only have your parents or parents, trusted this person, spoke highly of this person, and maybe this person was out here doing great things for, the people that share my reflection were doing good things at that time, but now they have moved on to other things to where they're in front of you, etc., and they are saying things, and if you have been listening to it over a period of time, you kind of sort of see where they lean, and that's not good. You want them to, just tell, and just like with any type of reporting, wherever you're getting your news from, you want a person to tell you the truth, what it is, good, bad, or indifferent, and you get to decide for yourself. You get to decide for yourself whether they're telling you the good, the bad, and the indifferent, and you get to decide what is true from your perspective, what works for you and your family, etc., how you're going to vote, etc., and not let that be someone just, telling you some stuff to get you all hyped up and emotional, etc. And this is a part of, I don't have to do anything but just show up with the little battery in the back, someone putting a little puppet out there dangling, this little puppet that shares your reflection, that are going to say all the buzzwords, all the key phrases, and use all the type of slang that you, me, or whomever is familiar with, and we're going to fall right into the trap. And then the next thing you know, we have big issues that you never thought was an issue. Just like myself, I never thought these things would become an issue until I really start to whittle down on some things, etc. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. And you always want to make sure that, like, I know I got a little political here. You always want to make sure that you are looking out for your own best interest and not that of someone else or a whole other group of people, etc., because you will get left behind. No one is thinking about you, me, or the next person. People are, voting their interests. People are doing things that are going to support themselves and their families. They're doing things that is going to work for themselves and their families. And we need to be mindful and on alert of, when people start placing people in front of us saying, oh, well, look at this person. They make so much money and, they're rich. You can do that too. I know I cannot be LeBron James. But they will put things out there like, you can amass this type of wealth also too. And that is not to say that you can't. We know what the struggle will be to get there. But we have to do the work. We have to do the work if we want to get there. Nothing's going to be handed. And someone just, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of our brain. So once again, we can't have people that are out here. I don't have to do anything but just show up. When we got the puppet in the back, the puppeteer, doing the strings, etc. No. We can't have that either in the context of I don't have to do anything but just show up and play on the emotions of people, etc. We cannot have that also. And two. Yeah. What else did I put on here? Yeah, and the types, and just like I mentioned, some of the folks that do these type of things are leaders that may share your reflection, celebrities, artists of all types, journalists, and there's a whole host of other folks that may do these type of things. They don't have to do anything but just show up, and and they're showing up for some of these folks. They're on your screens, however they show up on their screens, and they are possibly pushing a particular narrative or what have you. But just make sure that you are always making decisions that are going to be good and that they serve your interests and that of your family, etc., and not with the second portion of the people that I don't have to do anything but just show up, folks, and they got the puppet or the putting the battery in your back, getting you hyped up, etc., and then voila, here you are. And one of the other things that I want to mention briefly with regards to that is another report that I saw. Now, I'm not going to be long because this is a major report that came out, and this report is dated September 2017. Now, a good person. Hello, Renee Secret Garden. Hello, Renee Secret Garden. How are you? Welcome in. A good person that is good on this topic that is here on YouTube, from what I found, is Tone Talks. TONETLLKS. He does a great job of breaking down all of the things that I'm going to just mention briefly and then get off of here. He does a great job of talking about this particular topic, wealth, class, racial divide, racial inequity, a whole host of stuff, etc., like that. He is a good source of information to go and to go and hear some information about that, and then you get to decide for yourself. And also, he is part of the ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery movement, also into sort of good, in my opinion, place to go here on YouTube to research some information. But with regards to some of the things that I mentioned here, not going to hold long, about some that I don't have to show up, I don't have to do anything but just show up. And the secondhand part of it is putting folks in front of you that share your reflection. They kind of talk the same talk that you do. They know that we are emotional, and they would tell you a whole host of stuff every 4 years for the most part, and then they want to try to get you to vote a particular way, etc., or not, whatever it may be, try to get you to vote a particular way, you know, and because we think that we know them and been listening to them, we admire the work that they did prior. Like I mentioned before, our parents talked about these particular leaders, etc., and they were great and fantastic in what they did. And your parents still hold them in high regard, and then you learn stuff from your parents regarding them, and you've seen some of the stuff, and now they've gone on to do something differently, etc., depending on how you look at it. With all of that, and then they're telling you to, you know, vote a particular way or not to vote a particular way, whatever it is, whether it's state, local, state, federal, whomever it may be, then when you wake up to the game that has been played on you, etc., then you find yourself on the road to zero wealth, which is what this report is about. And this report is dated September 2017, and there may be new information out here, but the road to zero wealth pretty much is talking about how Latino and Black wealth, racial wealth gap, etc. And pretty much in the report is talking about by, I think, 2053, the median Black household is on a path to hit zero by 2053. Our net worth will be zero by 2053. And then after that, and it's about 10 years after it, well, after 10 years, that when minorities will be the majority population, minorities as a whole be the majority population. So all the while, a lot of things are going on beyond the leaders, the celebrities, et cetera, talking and saying things to you, trying to get you to do something that may not serve your interest. Be very careful, because you always want to do things that serve your interest. You may find yourself on the road to zero wealth by 2053 and a lot of us won't be here, but our children will be here. And what are we teaching our children with regards to money and finance, etc., and the things that are going on and how people show up? That's something to pay attention to. It is. It really is. And I know this is just my perspective. I mean, I'm too close to DC, but I have been looking at things over a period of time, because the reason I bring it is because I did follow one of these folks, and I really admired the work that they did for the people in the community that shared my reflection when, and it hasn't stopped, when there was a lot of aggression, a lot of crime being perpetrated amongst, Black people, etc. This person was always out there, out front, and a host of them out front, saying how bad it was, and defending and taking up and doing a whole host of things to, try to, relieve, get answers, etc., protesting, etc., for that. And now it's something different. And I'm not saying that people can't change or do something differently, etc. I'm not saying that. I'm just hearing it differently now. And I've just been kind of sort of turned off by it, not just recently, like in the last year or two or something, but in the last few years, etc. And I get it. People can decide to do something or not to do something, which is another reason. I'm not saying that I was full on board with it, but I did listen and like and enjoy, and held that person in high regard. And now it's different once I started piecing things together, when the person started to move and shift and do different things. But yeah, and like I said, this report is from September 2017, and they did a report in 2016. I just started reading this thing, so I'm not going to read it besides that. But it is a whole lot. If they are saying that the wealth of black people by 2053 will be zero. What is really going on right now? And they go in and they talk about race, because it's the racial wealth divide, gap, racial inequality, etc. A whole host of things in here. It's fascinating. Like I said, I just started reading it, and I am just fascinated. And it's from 2017. And like I said, a good person here on YouTube is Tone Talks. Tone Talks, TALKS. He talks about this in depth. He is a great resource for that. But the people that put out this report is the Institute for Policy Studies, and their site is inequality.org, and prosperitynow.org. And maybe the old report is there, and maybe they have some new information and guidance on there. And this report, you can print it out, because it's what I did. I gave the authors of the report. Like I said, it is from 2017. But yeah, very interesting, very interesting. And like I said, if you're not one of the folks that fall into one of the categories that I mentioned, and there are probably a whole host of other categories to where you got generational wealth going for you, and it's not going to be a problem because your parents have taught you how to manage all of the money that they have amassed, or maybe it was passed down to them and they kept it and added on, and now it's going to be your turn. If your parents have showed you how to add on to the money and keep the principal amount the same, so that you can pass it on to your children and everyone can have a great life, that type of person. Or if you're just beautiful and opportunities just open up to you because you're beautiful, you look good, etc., or you have connections, your dad is going to call his friend who is wealthy and they're going to let you come and work at that company, etc., just showing up. Or a friend of a friend of a friend is going to just hire you, or they got connects to whether they're just going to skip over your application, your kids' applications, your cousin's application, not even going to give them an interview, etc. They're just going to hire the person that they know because they network and their connects and all this other stuff. If you're not in that group, then you have to be doing all the hard, laborious stuff to just even make yourself, not even to get to halfway. In my opinion, you can put any type of percentage on it that you want to get yourself halfway in the door, i.e., take out hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars in student loans to get a degree and a whole host of things. Not knocking any of that, folks, because we do what it is that we have to do, or what it is that we've been told is going to help you, etc. And I get it for the professional degrees. It is necessary. It is necessary. Hello, Tracy, charming Tracy Robin. How are you? How are you? Just bumping my gums. I am going to get off of here in just a moment, but we have to make sure that we are doing all that we can for our children, because if, per this report, if by 2053 we are going to have zero wealth, then that's going to be problematic. Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. And I know that when I first was listening to Tone Talks and he was talking about this stuff, this been a couple of years back, he gave, and it might be from this chart, but I think he went by the different cities. I know Boston was one, and it was talking about a person's household wealth, which is pretty much their net worth. That we will look at it. And on this little report that they have here under race, wealth, and the middle class, what is the middle class now? Has it been redefined? What is the amount of, is it the amount of income? And here it talks about the wealth, actually the net income of a person. But what is middle class with regards to amounts? It keeps moving, it keeps moving, it keeps moving. Maybe a person that is making $100,000, based on where you're at, you might be poverty, you might be in the low income level, but you may be in the middle class, etc. But on this little chart that they have, median household wealth, and then I'm going to end. But just please make sure that you are looking out into the future for your children. If you have small children, make sure that you are doing the things that you need to do to make sure that maybe setting up a 529 if it is your goal, your aspiration right now, because your kid don't know what any of this is at that age. If you want them to go to college because that is going to be a stepping stone, a help for them to get a better job, etc., 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 then consider 529 or some other type of educational savings account for your kid if you want to do that. But of course, do all the things that is going to help you and your family right now so that you can have some wealth, have some wealth. But on this thing, it says the median household wealth, those with durable goods, and here it has money and cash, and I don't know what that means. Savings, emergency savings, cash on hand, stocks, bonds, etc. I'm going to put all of that in there, plus a car, plus household furnitures. For Black people, it was $11,000. For Latinos, it was $14,000. And for white folks, it was $134,000. And this report is from 2017. Now, if you did not have those things, for Black people, if you did not have money, a car, or furniture, for Black people, the net their net income was $1,700. For Latinos, it was $2,000. And that's a whole other topic just based off of that I could go into, but I won't. And for white folks without those things, their net worth was $116,000. So there's a lot to be said in that, which I'm not going to. But like I said, Tone Talks here on YouTube is a good place to go and to get some information. He talks about this topic in depth, and a whole host of other stuff related to culture and this particular topic, a whole host of things. For me, he is a good resource on this topic. But if we have the folks that are, secondhand with the battery in the back, doing the puppeteer thing, telling us, and we're being emotional and following it, then we may find ourselves here when they first did the report in 2016. And maybe they started in 2016 and the report was published in 2017. We may find ourselves with zero net worth, not having any net worth, which means, you don't have cash, savings, stocks and bonds, any of that type of stuff to where you can get a capital gain, IRAs, any of that type of thing, cars or a car or furniture, but your house, a house in of itself, like you're buying a home, that type of thing. You can have furniture and be renting, etc. So that's why they just did the furniture part, possibly. I'm going to get off here now, folks, but yeah. If you are a part of the group that don't have to do anything but just show up, consider yourself very fortunate if you fall into, like I said, one of these categories or a whole host of other ones. But just as I always try to say, and hopefully I'm saying it and have been saying it, always do what is best for you, what serves your interest first and foremost, and that of your family if you have one. And when I say family, I'm meaning your children, your husband, your spouse, your children, etc. That type of thing. Always do what is in your best interest, and get to know about your money, and get to know where you're putting your money, etc. What do you want out of life? All of those type of things to ask your questions about. And I question myself and have questioned myself, etc. And I'm doing a whole lot of things trying to get my stuff into one sock, etc. And don't be turned off by people that may, look like you and may want to poo-poo on your thoughts, ideas, etc. And sometimes you don't have to share, but yeah, it's a big topic. It's a big topic. I am going to get off here, folks. I am going to get off of here. Thank you so much for coming in. Renee's Secret Garden, Latanya's Home Cooking for the Soul, plus something else. I know she got a second channel. And Charming Tracy Robbins. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Take care and have a great rest of your Thursday. Take care, Renee. Take care. Bye-bye.